What is up with the squad? Happy Wednesday. It's still my anniversary. We celebrating for a long time. Cess Talks Bets with MJLover23 in the building. Y'all know what it is. Presented by Cess Talk Sports. MJ Lover, what's good, fam?
Hey, we should be celebrating that the rest of the month.
Oh man, we celebrating month long anniversary. I like it. Let's go. Let me say this. But some kind of way, a fly got in here and it's irritating the hell out of me. So if you see me swatting, I don't know. I don't know when this fly snuck in here, but it's irritating the hell out of me right now. So if you see me swatting that stuff, I don't need to trip. I'm trying to get him out of here.
It's not about my picks or anything. That's just about the fly.
Nah. I'm trying to get him out of here. It's irritating. But yeah, I appreciate y'all pulling up. Let's go. Y'all know if y'all need it, call it 1-800-GAMBLER. Pull up on them, text them. They got a website. You can call them 24/7. I think you can email them. I don't know. Like you can get on their website and chat, text them. Get the help you need. Don't wait. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights in the building. Make sure y'all are following Daniel Berry Sports Highlights, fam. Hey, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Jeffrey in the building. What's up, Jeffrey? What's going on, everybody? Gary in the building. What's good?
Yeah, hey.
What's up to the fam? Pulling up on Instagram and over there on X. Joining us, hanging out. Appreciate the support. Talk to me. What you got going on, man? What's going on today? What are we looking like from a sports aspect?
We're still getting to the point where we're gearing up for what's about to happen. Like this is almost like, not to make light of any natural disasters, but there's a hurricane of sports coming very soon. It's right around the corner. I know people are, you guys got day-to-day stuff that you got to deal with. You got things to plan. You got birthdays to plan. You got maybe some trips to plan, whatever the case may be. I highly recommend that you guys start looking ahead to some of the sports that are coming up. W's in right now. NFL's in full swing right now. Baseball is going towards the playoffs pretty soon. College basketball, men and women's, is right around the corner. For the hockey fans out there, I know there's a few of them out there. Hockey is right around the corner, and so is NBA. NBA is there is a game in October for the NBA, so it's going to be absolutely bananas. You guys got a small amount of time to prepare and get ready for it, so that you guys don't feel overwhelmed when we start talking about these different things, and we'll do our best to make sure that we don't lose anybody as far as the picks goes, or the conversations go, or the type of games that we're talking about. So just be ready, kind of get ahead of it, look at some of the preview picks and who's favored and who's not, and new players, all that stuff. Whenever you get a chance, you got at least a few weeks before it starts to ramp up some more.
All right, well, we gotta get ready. Like you said, it's the calm before the storm right now. It's gonna get real busy. October is my favorite month. Because you got MLB heating up, got NBA starting to simmer a little bit. WNBA is in full swing, trying to finish off. Women's college hoops is starting to come along. If you in the NHL, that's in full swing. So it's so many sports going on. Boxing, it's starting to cook a little bit as they ramp up for the end of the year. So October is a good month as we get ready to head into that. Have a good night, everyone. You give Daniel Sports Highlight a shout out. Don't worry, I do have a channel. I will support my own channel. Okay, Jeffrey, we give you a shout out all the time, bro. Like we talk to you all day. We talk about what's going on with your channel all day. Like we know that you have a channel, bro. But you have to. However, whatever works best for you. But back to what we were talking about the sports. As we start to, I guess, start looking at moving away from baseball, moving into the parlays and stuff. I know you want to start talking about strategy and what goes into it and storyline. So you want to go into some of that before we start talking about picks for today?
Yeah, so jumping in, and we're going to go right into the W when it comes to this. So one of the things that is really important, and I've seen on a few different sites that have people that follow them, and their picks are usually pretty consistent and successful, are the sites that actually talk about the storylines of the games themselves. Right, there's basically not just the teams. The rivalry, the matchups, what the records are between each team, and streaks and different things like that. But it's also the individual players themselves. The individual players, you know, sometimes it's really in depth about what they eat before they play, or different routines that they have before they go out and play. Other times it's real playful stuff, like just general stuff on social media. Maybe they posted something and they got some kind of X Twitter or X war with another player on another team. They're giving each other bulletin board material, just different things like that. When you actually put in your wagers, and you go into the game and you see some of this stuff play out as far as who's motivated, who's not, players that are playing out of their mind, people coming out of nowhere. Those different things come from, not just, the actual games itself. It come from the storylines. Like there's a lot of storylines that go into it. Like, for instance, I think, so one of the things that they didn't know, as far as when Christian McCaffrey out with another injury, their running back that they have, who I picked up on my season long fantasy, and it was one of my best pickups so far this year. That dude went over 100 yards for 2 straight games, and his story was nothing more extravagant than he was just waiting his turn to get in. Instead of being like a spell running back, he got thrown into the fire, and he took advantage of his opportunities, basically. I mean, it's nothing more than that, right? So, I mean, it didn't take me long to actually pick up on that, because once I found out CMC was going to be out, he's basically the back. They got another backup guy, but the other guy only plays like probably 20% of the snaps. So, I mean, okay, it doesn't hurt to actually put him on my lineup now. He might be there even when CMC comes back. He may actually help CMC not have another injury because he's running so well, right? So it's just little stuff like that to keep up with when it comes to especially with the W stories, right? So we're going to jump into the 2 games today, and there's a lot of stories that go behind this, but I'm not going to go into all of them. I'll just go into the ones that I feel are important to the possible performances that some of these players are going to have today.
All right, let's get started, man. Let's get started. First up, let's go. Indiana, Connecticut.
So before we can go forward, we have to go back. So we'll have to go back to the last game that happened on Sunday, which is kind of a long time in between games in the first round. But it's not anything that's that hasn't happened before or anything like that. It's just more or less we have to kind of make sure that we cover all the bases when it comes to this stuff. Caitlin Clark didn't have the best game. We'll start off at the top here. For whatever reason, whatever people believe happened and didn't happen. One thing that I saw that actually is fueling my picks for today is that there were a number of shots that were open that she had that were off. I believe that being the player that she is in the season she's had this year, that there should be some adjustments made, especially to the shots that she was taking as far as the distance. And I talked to somebody about this the other day about that. I think if she closes the gaps on some of those shots, even those, a lot of those shots were in and out, like they were in and then they were out, right? It's a make or miss league. But those adjustments of getting closer to the 3-point line if she gets those same looks today, I think she'll make most of them. One of the things that I forgot to put on, which I will be adding in, and I'm glad I'm putting it on video, is that I will be adding in the 3-pointers made 2 or more. I'm actually going to put an over on that, and that will be risky, just because it is hard for any player to hit 3 or more 3-pointers in a game, especially in a playoff game, especially when you are the focal point that people are focusing on. Hitting 3-point. I mean, there's a lot of 3-point shooters in the league that can't do this. So I am actually putting a nice little risky tag on that before we even jump all the way into it. But with that said, I think what we're going to be looking at today is, I think we're going to be looking at a better game from Caitlin Clark. Kelsey Mitchell is going to be someone to look at too, because she had some open shots, but some of the shots she made were in the face of defense, but that's what she can do. Now, the only problem with that is that that's not a high percentage shot. So if she is taking the same shot she was taking with defense on her like she had last game, I don't know if that's going to lead to a big scoring game. But I am putting her at the over just because, it's Kelsey Mitchell, and basically she gets buckets is basically what it is. Now, back to Caitlin Clark. So 18.5 points, take the over on that. 4.5 rebounds, take the over on that. That one's near a low. I think it's near the minimum, because she did have like I think what was it? Was it 9 rebound game or 11 rebound game? But a game before the playoffs, of course, she only played half the game. She had 2 rebounds. So I'm imagining she'll be able to get about 5 or more rebounds. So take the over on that. The assists are a tick lower than they usually are, because she had, what did she have? I think she had 8 assists and 2 turnovers, or maybe it was 7. I gotta go back and look. But it was a good assist to turnover ratio, but it was a low assist number for her, because she's averaging around, I think it was 8 or 9. It's 8 a game, but 9.5 was usually her prop spread. And she was usually hitting that, actually, which is really hard to do. So 7.5 is kind of a minimum for her. So take the over on that. Kelsey Mitchell, 18.5 points over.
Prop master.
Yes, you had questions.
You go now, because you. Well, yeah, I got questions, comments, concerns. I'm gonna address. Is Jeffrey mad because a shout out? LL. What's up, y'all? That. I'm not sure. I spend a lot of time talking about Jeffrey. We went into what Jeffrey went. Weird concert, talked about Jeffrey on my channel. So for that energy to come back to me after I didn't win and spent time and engaged was like really weird for me. So I don't know. I'm glad to know you're not mad. Have a good night. But that energy right there for me, it was way off. So we'll see how that goes. But LL, how's your day going? The fire started. That was weird. That was really weird. But we'll keep going. But really, my question was this, Prop Master, right here. You were talking about storylines. Mm-hmm. We were on earlier on the CC show, and somebody was talking about the importance of Indiana having a game at home, a playoff game at home this year. Do you buy that as a storyline? And then how does that factor into tonight? If you do buy that as a storyline, because that would mean kind of like
storylines. That means that
are we looking at like 5-on-8? Is this the type of game that we come in and like we're looking to see like who are the referees? Is it a CP3 type of situation where you want to know like, hey, who is the ref? Because we know how you get down with him. Like, I'm getting spicy. It's playoff time. It's jury on the line now. It's jury on the line. It's tight. I hear you over there. Come on now, talk to me. I need to know. Prop Master, is all of that just urban legend or what? Talk to me.
One of the things that I know the W has said they were trying to stay away from is any type of controversy that has to do with refereeing and the powers that lie therein. One of the things that they have, and it's boilerplate stuff, of course, is that the integrity of the game, the referees are high quality, and there's no favoritism and all that stuff, right? There's always going to be the way that that referees that they ref the games. They have a certain style, and regardless of what people want to say, they're going to tell you. And we may, I mean, I know that you have been trying to get, a few of the referees into the chat so that questions can be asked and answered. Based off of not just the rules, but also the feelings of referees.
With the ref.
Right. What you're, I try to shorten this up a little bit because it's always a mixed bag when it comes to that stuff. We don't. Well, for the most people don't have a set name that hits them in the base of their spine when it comes to, oh man, you know what? Why is this person reffing the game? Right? We don't have that yet. However, I think we talked about it the other day. There's at least one, if not two, referees that we see a lot, and they actually coach. They also ref in the NCAA women's game too, and we saw at least one of them refereeing playoff games, and they were involved in that big LSU South Carolina fight. Or dust up, so to speak. I won't call it a fight, but that dust up that happened, right? So now people are starting to say, okay, that's that same lady that was at that game. And now if anything goes wrong, she's a beacon. She's one of the beacons of, okay, the fix might be in on that. I truly believe as of right now, there's not enough evidence to actually to sustain the alleged allegations of there's certain referees that are in there to extend series. Like we know of a few in the NBA, right? I mean, who's your boy that was boys with Tim Donaghy? He's still in there. Mr. Scott Foster. His name is, and he knows it. I'm not, if somebody comes across this and says, oh my God, somebody talking about you, Scott. I mean, he knows. Like, it ain't no secret that whenever he and a few of the people that he works with in certain series, the records show that when he's in those series, the series usually is extended. It just is what it is at that point, right? I mean, the numbers, men lie, women lie, numbers don't most of the time, exactly. Right? So, but I don't know if we have that in the W right now. So that's unless.
But I think the fam has been identifying something. And they was like, Cess, that's the same dude. Remember him?
Yeah.
Remember his head? That's him. Yeah. Remember? That's her. That's them from the NCAA. They here. Pay attention. So it made me like, now, okay, maybe I need to really like key in on who are these referees and are they affecting outcomes like that? Right. And will they be those referees that are trusted with these games as we go forward to try to get to these championships?
I mean, we are talking about it.
And then some of it, urban legend, some of it, people raise their eyebrows at certain things, but how much of that plays into, if like Vegas and what Vegas thinks about, how they pick games and odds and all of that kind of stuff. Like, do they think about that? Like when CP3 is getting ready to play against, is it Scott Foster? Because I think it is.
Yeah.
When Scott Foster is refereeing a game that Chris Paul is playing in, is it an automatic loss for the team that Chris Paul is on? I'm wondering, I mean, and have you noticed that?
I have noticed. I think the record. What was the record? I think it was Chris Paul is 1-14 in games that Scott Foster referees. I don't know if that's a combination of playoffs and regular season, but it's that's the number. It's somewhere around that, and it is eye-opening. I will say, I'll put it that way. It is very eye-opening that a record would be like that for a player of his stature and the teams that he's been on. Like the NBA is tough, but 14 losses versus 1 or 2 wins, that's a little bit suspect, right? I mean, that's where a lot of the rumors and stuff start to come into play. Now, do we have any studies like that in the W? Not yet, but we have been talking about it. Like, I mean, that's true. We have had stories about that. But the one thing that you won't see on a regular basis, and it's kind of hard to see, is who's reffing these games pre-game. Like, you really have to dig and find out who's reffing the W games versus the NBA will have the referees like on ESPN or Fox Sports News or whatever sport channel you go to. The referees are usually at the bottom of the write-up on the front page. They'll let you know who's refereeing those games. In the W, maybe I haven't paid attention. I don't see that readily. It's not readily available who's reffing those games until after the game's done, or if you tune in and you can see who's reffing the game. I don't even think they announced the referees' names for the W before the games. Like, before
but the fam will tell you. The fam will tell you who they are. The fam know him. The fam know him. My chat, when I say my chat better than yours, they know him.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying though.
And I guess, I never even noticed, like when we looking at like picking the games and picking the stuff, is that is that something that's listed there that Vegas lists, like who the refs are on the game? I've never, I haven't paid attention to that, so I was wondering.
Of course, Vegas will know. Vegas, I mean, that's what their job is. Their job is to know who's reffing those games and the different things that go along with that. What I would say is that because
hold on, excuse me 1 second. I'm sorry. Because I need that. Let me address this because I see Jeffrey. Uh-oh. You got this. You continue to you got this going. Hold on. Let me make sure I'm clear. I'm sorry, everybody. Time out on what we got going. We're gonna get back to regularly scheduled programming. But Jeffrey, I see you in the chat. Let me tell you something. I watch the videos that I want to watch. I comment on the videos that I want to comment. I'm very supportive of everything that you do when you come here, talk about it, share it with the fam. If you think that I'm going to watch every one of your videos and put a comment on them, let me be clear. I'm not. Okay? The videos that I do watch, I watch them. If I want to put a comment on them, I put a comment on them. I see you with this. You sharing my stuff. You doing this stuff on your time. If you're doing anything for a tit for tat, please don't. I only want genuine people here who want to share the content. You are being highly disrespectful in my chat right now, but what you're doing when we're trying to carry out a show. If that's what you're here for, please exit stage left. If you're here to support and be a part of the conversation, be here. If it's about some tit for tat, I ain't for that. And you're not going to ever dictate for me how I move at all on YouTube or nowhere. So I'm asking you now, let us continue with the show. But what you doing right now in my chat, I ain't finna go for it. So sorry about that, fam. Prop Master, back to our regularly scheduled programming. My apologies.
Yeah, no problem. So with that said, I would say that if we, and I know me, myself, and I know there's a few other people in the chat, that if we decide to actually go and do some research on these referees and their record and the different things, and what if we find tendencies, we will definitely go down the rabbit hole and figure out who they are and who these referees are. As of right now, though, there's no one that really sticks out, at least in the early stages of the playoffs, that seem like they would be the
Scott Foster?
Scott Foster? Yeah, I don't think there's a Scott Foster of the W.
Is there a Joey Crawford? Is there a Joey Crawford? There's a Joey Crawford, right? Like you only know so many. You only know so many referee names, though. And I guess I don't know. It's either for a good reason or a bad reason if you know their name. But
Joey Crawford was he was a long tenured ref who a lot of people said was a really good ref. He was very temperamental, which is bad for a referee in my opinion, but he was, in the beginning, from when I first started watching him, he was a communicator. And for a referee to be a communicator, that's really important. It's really important for a referee to be a communicator, because what that does is that it allows for players that are genuinely wanting to play better and not get into foul trouble, or be able to make moves without a violation and different things like that, to get into the mind of what that referee is looking for when they make calls or when they don't make calls. The more you know about that, the better you can adjust your game and play the way you need to play for success. Now, the problem is that when you get to the point where you seem to be jaded, I'm not gonna say they were, where you're actually giving technical fouls to players that are laughing on the bench and basically throwing them out of the game when they're not even playing, or maybe not even laughing at you. And I think you probably know, Seth probably knows exactly what I'm talking about, the Tim Duncan incident when he was on the bench, not saying anything and just laughing.
He got threw out.
Certain call. Threw him out.
Who throws Tim Duncan out? Who throws Tim Duncan out of the game? Let alone while he's on the bench, right? Exactly. But you say communicator. Do you know what face came to mind? What face came to mind? You said communicator, referee, communicator, NBA.
Which one? Who?
Dick Bavetta.
Dick Bavetta. Now he was a good referee too. Dick Bavetta. Very agreeable referee. Yeah, I mean, if you made him mad, you were really doing something, because he was very even keeled. He didn't really. I mean, I'm trying to remember anyone that had something sustainably bad to say about Dick Bavetta, and I still haven't. Like, in general, people lose games and they start talking mess, but other than that, never. I can't remember a sustained negative vibe against Dick Bavetta. He was a very good ref, and he ref for a long time. Kind of questionable that kissed Charles Barkley on the lips after losing to him in a race, but it was. I mean, it may be accidental. It might have been accidental, but hey,
I don't know. I didn't know if he looked at Charles like a grandson. I wasn't clear in that moment. It was like because Charles was such the anti referee guy, right? Like Charles was. He was Mr. I'm not a role model, right? So
exactly.
It was like what? But it was, but it was actually fun to see kind of that was Chuck kind of going into his retirement and relaxing for some of the competitiveness and fire that he played with. So that was kind of cool to see for sure.
Yep. Now that was a perfect segue into storylines, right? That's a part of the storyline, is finding out if there are certain referees that actually have a proclivity to actually ref a certain way that actually benefits certain players versus another. If there's a line, whereas hypothetically speaking, I'm speaking in a bunch of air quotes today that you guys can't see. Hypothetically, if the word came down that, hey, we need that home game in Indiana so that we can get that ridiculous revenue that's right around the corner, you will see, probably not, it won't be obvious, but it will be subtle. There will be subtle things that will happen that will facilitate the advantage to said team. One is calls that weren't called in the first game being called in the second game. The first game was a rough game. Like,
okay.
Let's not sugarcoat it.
I want the over under on subtle though. I want the over under on subtle. And I'm being honest. I want the over under on subtle in the Caitlin Clark. If we gonna have a conversation, let's have a conversation. Let's have the over under in the Caitlin Clark game. And this is why I was asking, because the fan was people earlier was saying it's important to the W to get this home game in Indiana. So
yes, it is. Oh yeah, but ultimately there are millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars on the line for game 3 in this series. Let's not pretend. I'm not even going to pretend to say this. Now, what happens is and I'll give you a quick story. And I know we're taking a long time on this, right? But this is really stuff that you should really think about. It's not just about.
Well, and remember, this is for entertainment purposes, and it's for informational purposes, but it's also for educational purposes. So, like, part of why I'm invested in doing this show on a daily basis is because this is something that I'm now invested in learning about. So sometimes we'll go in depth on other stuff. So forgive us, hang out with us, put your pics in the chat. Let us know. Let me jump in the chat real quick. I'm sorry. The one lady that's bald on the side is suspicious. She always there when something starts. I told you the chat be going. The bald head guy is them too. It's them too. We don't know their names. Jeffrey, hey, Sepio, apology. I appreciate that. Thank you. I hope Connecticut Sun win tonight. I'm rooting for the Connecticut Sun win tonight too. But it's let's have this conversation about the WNBA, and how important is it? How important is it to get Caitlin Clark in a playoff game at home? Is it enough to have a call come down in air quotes, or to have people, feeling a certain way play? Because part of I think being a good professional athlete is also being able to read and adjust to how referees are calling the game or umpires, whatever you're playing against, right? And so, but it's also building a relationship. And when I think about building a relationship, I'm specifically thinking about Draymond Green. Because Draymond Green gets to say a lot of stuff that other people don't get to say. The line before Draymond actually gets a tech is way out farther than other people. I'm gonna put it out there. Like Draymond sometimes people like, "Ooh, Draymond, calm down," but Draymond, and as a Dub fan, like, damn, hold on, Draymond, hold on, man. Hold on. But Draymond has built relationships with these referees over time that he's earned this benefit of the doubt. And I don't know what it is that he says in these moments in between, what he did to establish this, but he's established a leeway. Like, dude has his I don't want to say leash, but it for lack of a better way to put it, like his leash is way longer with all of the refs.
Oh yeah.
It's not just one, it's not with all of the refs. Like he has to go way out there before they're like, okay, Draymond, like, come on. So how does that happen, especially with a player like Draymond, where he's so fiery? Like Draymond is gonna tell you what he thinks. He's gonna let you know it's not a call. Let's look at it again.
Let's look at it again.
Right, but I think that speaks to how he works the refs, like the talking that he's doing. When he's bent down and they're shooting free throws or they're walking back up the court, or I don't know how he greets them before the game or after the game, or if they exchange Christmas gifts. And I don't know if players can do that, but my point is, like, you can still be a fiery player and play within kind of yourself still, with established relationships with referees, and that factors into being able to go into the gray sometime, being able to clothesline somebody or choke them, or I don't know if he meant to choke them, or I don't know. I don't know.
Just suddenly clothesline somebody.
I don't know. It happened. I don't know exactly if he.
No, but that's a good. That's a good point, though. I mean, here's the thing. So there's this, and you should know all about this. The Bad Boy Pistons from the 80s. There was a philosophy that was a part of Lane Beer, or I think John Sally was the one that said it the most, is that we're going to hit you and hit you and hit you, and guess what? The referees are going to come to the point where they can't call every single foul. They're not. Once you've established that, then the game gets really rough. And then you're wondering, like, man, this is tough, and they just beating up on people. But that's a strategy too, because little bumps now, like when people are trying to draw fouls on you, those little bumps that are usually called fouls, they're not fouls now, because they have to pick and choose when they're going to call these fouls on you. So, like, when you clobber somebody, that's a foul. Now, if you hip check somebody, or maybe you tug on the shirt that they don't see anything about it, those fouls aren't called, because they seem normal, and that Rodman did it. Even Patrick Beverly made a living. He made a 10+ year career off of being chippy, right? I mean, Dylan Brooks is doing it right now, even though he's fouling out of games, more than those guys did. But he's establishing rough, tough contact, and so that he's getting away with certain fouls, and that's the whole thing of Draymond being able to actually yell. In the beginning, he's yelling, but what helped him a lot is that they created a dynasty. Once you create a dynasty, you definitely have leeway. you definitely have leeway to be able to. I mean, even as volatile as you may talk to the refs, because he cusses out refs and doesn't get
what
fouls.
Draymond be wilding.
Like
Hey, Draymond don't hold him up. He don't hold him up. He sometimes I'd be like, "Ooh, Draymond, you can't."
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, how did he not get a tech?
And I be looking like I must have missed the tech, and they going on back down the court.
Cess, he runs up to refs and is like,
hey,
in their
what are you doing?
face.
Hey, Draymond don't hold him up. Hey, T Beats, what's good? Hey, yeah, Draymond, come on, yeah, Draymond is like,
oh
hey,
man,
hey, Draymond, he does not hold his tongue.
No.
But they have a respect for him, and I like what you said about the dynasty. I didn't think about that. Like winning gets you some leeway too. Like everybody wants to be cool with the winners, and I'm not saying that I'm saying that more of an unconscious bias kind of way. But it's also an unconscious bias. Like they've been winning. They're gonna get the benefit of the doubt, I think, right? And so
exactly.
But I don't see that. I guess I'm trying to figure out how they can establish those type of relationships or those type of understandings, or if they will, with these referees that we got. But some of these referees seem like they are still mad at these kids from when they were in college. Like you're holding grudges. You're holding I feel like there's a grudge against Angel. Like whatever the call was, it came down in the NCAA. It came down. Okay, whatever that call was, but it didn't come down in the WNBA. So let's call it like a WNBA game.
Right.
But tonight could very well be 5-on-8. It could very well be 5-on-8, and I want to know how does that factor into it, if at all. Like strategy, do you stay closer to the under? Do you stay closer to the smaller numbers? Do you go big or go home? Scary money don't make money, so and it's shekels, entertainment shekels only. But how does it factor in?
Leading into that, one thing that you can say, there's two scenarios that are prevalent right off the top of my head. One, the first scenario is if you do believe in the narrative that that's a possibility, the Fever are a high scoring game. So that means that they're most likely going to get over 90 points. The spread is 163.5. So you would probably take the over on that easily. The Sun can still score. The one thing that is hard in that scenario, which would be the second scenario, is that the Fever are not known for defense, not even in the slightest. I think they were in the top or the bottom 4 when it came to defensive rating as a team. So even if you have that that unconscious bias, as you would like to say, but they were getting maybe a few more calls than they were getting before, can they stop the Sun enough to take advantage of that irregularity from game 1 to game 2? I don't know. That's the question. In scenario 2, that is the biggest question on if they can get this game back to Indiana. Now,
this is why we watch.
If they did get back
Connecticut, who are you? Who are you? We're gonna find out. Connecticut, who are you?
If anything had happened like that.
At the crib.
Yes.
At the crib.
Yeah. Because I'll tell you this.
I'll
be even bold. Because I know I had some discussions about the Fever getting one game in this series. And I said it's possible they could have got it. If they would have gotten game 1, that was the game that they were going to get. Now, even with the scenario of the second scenario, whereas they may be getting some extra calls that they didn't get in game 1, I'm not sure if that would still be enough to beat a Connecticut Sun team that may be on, they may be on a revenge tour too, getting into the second round of the playoffs, every year for like 4 or 5 years straight and not being able to close the deal. This would definitely be a backslide for them. And I don't know if the Fever would be able to take advantage of that. They've had a great season.
Ty Harris being out.
That hurts. But it depends on how much you feel that Marina Mayberry being in the starting lineup is going to help or hurt the Sun. And at this point, just looking at,
she was such a successful starter last time we saw her.
Yeah, exactly. Right. What? She's playing 30 minutes coming off the bench in a few games. So she's essentially a starter. I don't think they miss a beat. I don't think Marina scores 27 tonight, but I'm quite sure I'm confident she'll get 15 or 16, and I think that'll be enough.
But prop master, it's not Ty Harris's offense that I'm gonna miss. It's the defense.
It's the defense.
So, right. If Bonner is D'ing up Caitlin, and that leaves Marina to D up Kelsey Mitchell
or Dejanay Carrington.
Okay, yeah, we better go Dejanay. Yeah,
they got options.
Yeah,
they got options.
We better go Dejanay. We better go Dejanay. I was just thinking like, I just don't want, so yeah, we better go Dejanay. We better go Dejanay there for sure.
It is really great to have a deep team. When you have a deep team, especially with veterans sprinkled in with a few youngsters, that's a great combination, right? Young teams that have like a few veterans, that's good too, especially when they get off to a good run. But when you get in the playoffs where each possession counts and matters, and that experience, it's not all about athleticism at that point. It's experience, right? It's knowing when to make certain plays, when to move, how to move, which passes to make, which shots to take in certain situations to give you the best advantage. The Sun definitely have that. I'm just saying, I'm not saying Indiana can't win. It's going to be monumental. They're going to have to play as close to a perfect game as they can against this team based off of what we saw on Sunday. Almost guaranteed. Now, with that said, Aaliyah Boston, 9.5 points. Take the over on that because that's a little bit low. She's been in double figures, I think, the last 2 or 3 games. 6.5 rebounds. Take the over on that because more or less it's Boston and Smith on the boards. Clark every once in a while comes and scoops up loose balls, but for the most part, Boston's the one battling down low to get those rebounds. I think she'll get about 7 or 8 tonight. Alyssa Smith is starting tonight, evidently. She is starting tonight. I would imagine she would get 8.5 points, taking the over on that. I put risky on that, but she's going to be active around the boards, and she does get to the free throw line, which is pretty cool. You don't really see a whole lot of bigs in the W get to the free throw line as much as she does. I mean, it's only, it's anywhere from 4 to 6 free throws a game, but it's rare for, I don't want to diminish her importance to the Fever, but she's probably the 4th option on the team, maybe 5th. I mean, if you count Hull, because Hull is they're one of their better 3-point shooters too. But 8.5 points, I think she can get there because, she's not the best free throw shooter either, but it's just 3 points and she'll get a couple layups. She may get a couple of layups just off of Caitlin Clark assists. So I'm taking the over on that, and you get some good units. There's some good units to be had on that. 4.5 rebounds, taking the over too. If she's playing starter minutes, she should get that pretty easy, even next to Boston. So, and that bet right there will get you some good shekels, some good units.
Gotta jump in here. Sure. You know the chat is always with the stories.
Oh no,
so got something that may affect this thing. Ghostface picking the building. KBAF.
Hey.
Is it just me, or I don't like Dejanay still in seatbelt gang? Like, girl, come up with something new. No shade. But she do her seatbelt different, so I thought we was accepting. It's a double seatbelt for her, LL. I'm not sure. Let me know. But this is what I was really trying to get to. Oh, they want Smith to distract Dejanay. I see the plan. Now, let's get to the 11 basketball story on the court.
Oh boy.
How does that factor in? Because I mean, it's storyline. So now, Nalissa is starting. Dejanay starts. How does this play out? Does it factor in at all?
I mean, I'm not one to actually to pour gasoline on a fire that might be happening. So I'll start with this.
And then let me ask this. I got to throw this in there. Is there a battle between the couples? So like, do the couples want to outperform the other couples, even though one couple is on the opposite teams? I don't know. Just let me know.
Oh, of course. I mean, that's natural. I mean, you definitely want to outperform, your friend, your neighbor, your family member.
No, but I'm saying, like, at the end of the day, do Tawana and Alyssa want to be? Do they want their box scores to look better than Dejanay and Alyssa? Like, there's a lot of love and basketball on this court right here. No more die in the building. Ha! Got great company.
I mean,
My fingers crossed for the sun since Jesus Clark packing for the year. Yay, area! I still got to go on. Let's good. Yee! Let's go.
I don't think. I think that if that scenario is a scenario, then that plays in favor of the Sun because you got a couple. You got a couple already on the Sun. Then you got one of a couple that's on the Sun that's trying to outdo the other couple. So you basically have three people trying to outdo one person. And that one person, as talented as she is, she's not better than the other three that she's going up against. Now she
remember what matters of the heart, though. Remember, battles of the heart. Alyssa forgot she was on the other team last time. DJ got pushed down on the ground, wasn't helping her up and knocking her teammate back. So I'm just saying,
what it is. That's what it is. When you're in between those lines,
happy spouse, happy house. I'm just saying, you got to go home with her, girl.
Emotions are there, but when it comes to winning, the will to hate to lose is stronger than, hey, let me help you up because you my boo on the court. No, that's after the court. Yeah, you saw after the game. You saw after game one when D's name went up to Nalissa, and Nalissa was not even trying to look at it. I don't want to even.
I'll call you later. I'll text you in a minute. I'll text you in a minute. Smith can't do nothing, do ish, no shade, just tea. At least they ain't got to worry about hitting each other's spot. You know what?
Oh boy!
But a win, they don't have to worry about that. They don't. Not right now, they don't.
That's even worse, though. If you bring up that scenario, then the Sun really have an advantage when it comes to that, for sure. Like, there's not even a question. The Fever don't have anything like, well, not necessarily that anything on the court to worry about when it comes to that. They don't have those headlines, right? But yeah, I mean that in itself may even. I mean, it may fuel Smith to actually play better. But it may actually fuel Smith to mess up the game at the end if it's close.
Not selling.
She may sell it, just off of emotion at the end of the game, right? So I would say this. With that said, I would give the Sun more of an advantage if that's the case because I think the Sun have an advantage.
I thought we own storylines there, so I had to throw that.
Oh yeah, we had to put those in. They all gotta be read. Alyssa Thomas, 8.5 points, take the over on that. 7.5 points, take the over on that. 6.5 assists, take the over on that. 29.5 points, rebound and assists, take the over on all of them. I am putting my eggs in her basket as long as she doesn't get into foul trouble. They really didn't have an answer for her. She, triple double, right? She's a high triple singles every single game she plays in. I say that affectionately, but yeah, I mean,
affectionately, of course,
in the playoffs now. Her those triple doubles, they're not easy, but they're probably easier for her now because this is go time, and there's really not anyone that can stay with her because if you can grab the ball out of the rim, go on a dead sprint. Go and pull a euro on a backcourt player that's trying to defend you for a layup. There's not a whole lot that they can do. Is just hope that you miss that slingshot of a jumper that you have from 15 feet out. That's it.
Don't do that. That's straight muscle memory. I
mean, I get it. I know she got two bad shoulders, but that's the only thing you can do is force her to take that shot. Now, if she's making that shot, you might as well just get your black trash bags ready and start dumping your stuff in.
1, 2, 3, Cancun.
Yeah, for Cancun or China or the 3-on-3, depending on where you're going.
Or Galveston.
Yeah, I don't see any resistance against Alyssa Thomas. They may try to mix it up, but the Fever don't strike me as a team that wants to get you angry. Because
they're not a mix it up team.
No,
they're very non-confrontational
type of team.
They're very non-confrontational. Man, they ain't got time to be trying to get into those conversations with nobody.
Exactly.
All the energy they spending keeping Caitlin calm all game. They ain't got time. They ain't got time for that shit. What?
So
come on.
Moving
on.
No
time for that.
Marina Mayberry. This is most likely going to be your free space for for the day. 13.5 points. I know she had 27 points. We're not looking to get. I'm not even looking for her to have 20. If she has 20, it's going to be a bonus. But 13.5 is near her minimum. So take the over on that. You can move that line up to probably, I'd move it up to around 15 at the most, maybe 15.5 to get an extra shekel or two out of that bet. But 13.5 is a safe bet. DeWanna Bonner, 8.5 points. I'm taking the over on that. She was hyped last game. I'm quite sure she's going to come in hyped again. If she comes in and hits a couple of threes in the first quarter, which is quite possible, she'll definitely hit that number the rest of the game. DJ Carrington, who is I haven't had her on a write-up in a while, but I have to put her on for at least points just because her energy. She's aggressive as you know what, especially the last week and a half of the season. I'm have her for 9.5 points pretty easy. And then Brianna Jones.
That most improved player gonna have her own one.
Yeah, exactly.
That most improved player gonna have her own one. Storyline. I'm just jumping back in with storyline. You come up with that most improved player, and she earned it. Didn't start a game last year, started every game this year. The only other person that I could have seen being there is Kennedy Carter, but DJ Carrington gonna be on one.
Yeah, and the boost, right? Awards boost. It's just like anything else. It's the All-Star boost. It's the Olympic boost. It's the awards boost. Every player that actually wins an award or sets a record or is recognized for an accomplishment, they usually get a boost. If they're in the playoffs, they'll basically get a boost depending on the matchup. It may be bigger, it may be smaller, but there's always a boost when it comes to those type of awards. I mean, even with Caitlin Clark and Rookie of the Year, that's why I have my line the way that I have it today. I just feel that there's got to be an all or nothing attitude from her today. No matter what she scores, she may not score 30 or 35 or anything like that, but I imagine she'll get in the 20s and she'll basically have a decent stat line in a possible losing effort. Lastly, Brianna Jones, 15.5 is kind of her max. Definitely taking the under on that. The way that they're using her right now, even though they're feeding the ball into the post, I think they're feeding the ball into the post for what you're supposed to do with players that may not be the main focus in a game plan. They are getting her touches. Understand what I'm telling you guys. Touching the ball as a veteran on a team, especially in the playoffs, even if you're not on the bulletin board or the chalkboard for plays being drawn up for you, is immensely huge to keep those veteran players engaged in games, especially playoff games. That means she's going to give more effort on rebounding, more effort on defense, maybe give an extra effort on fouling. Maybe that extra blockout's going to help get an extra rebound for them. You got to get your veterans touches on the ball because they know that even if they're not going to score 20 points a game, at least they feel involved. If you do not feed your veterans or your best players the ball to at least touch it, you are going to have problems with them throughout the game. They're going to be out of a rhythm. They're going to be in a bad funk. So that's why Jones is starting. That's why she's touching the ball early. And later in the game, she those post-ups that she was getting in the first quarter, she's not getting those in the third and fourth quarter because she's not a main part of that game plan. So have some patience when you see her touch the ball early, because what happens is, best case scenario, she touches the ball early a couple of times and she scores a couple of times or gets fouled and goes to the free throw line. Guess what? That means now she's a threat. Now the other team has to not only look at Alyssa Thomas or Mayberry or DeWanna Bonner or DJ Carrington. Now they got to look at Brianna Jones. Right? So keep that in mind when you're watching these games tonight.
Caitlin and Thomas over assist is easy money, and I think Thomas. I think Thomas may be on a mission to have more assists. I don't know. I'm just saying because I know.
I know that. Yeah, that was the narrative.
It'll be a little in-game competition right there. I think to see who will have the most assists. Billy Bridge coming in with the facts. DeWanna Bonner. 4 3-pointers away from 100 all time in the playoffs. 40 points away from passing Tweeka Catchings for third place all time playoff points. She will be probably looking to be on one. Great records to try to break at the crib in the playoffs. So looking forward to that. Appreciate that hot take right there, Billy Briz.
Oh no, Billy he probably just solidified my possible 2 3-pointers in the first quarter for DeWanna Bonner. So I mean, and I think it's something that you can bet on. At least one.
I believe it is.
But if you bet 1.5 threes in the first quarter on DeWanna Bonner, that's a big. You're gonna pick up a lot of units if that hits. Now, I'm not recommending that. I'm just telling you that it's more of a possibility than people think.
Y'all know I'm going to put my 50 cent on it. My 50 cent worth of shekels. Y'all know I'm on my way. I might click off the camera to do it right now. I'm just letting y'all know. When I make this thing big, I'm gonna be back here doing some other stuff. So let's go.
I'm putting in pics as we talk. Like you know me. I get the alerts. I'm like, all right, let's put that in. All right, next game. So Phoenix and Minnesota, 160.5 is the line. 9.5 is the point spread. You know me, I usually like getting away from the point spreads. One of the things that I cannot deny is that I have to stay away from this one too, just because of the game that Natasha Cloud had the other day. Even though I don't think they're going to win this series, I don't think they're winning this game. I cannot take that 9.5, even as systematic as the Lynx tore apart the Mercury last game. I can't take that spread because it is a closeout game and you have a number of veterans on the team. Kalia Copper, I mean, I don't know. She was out for a reason, right? That's all I can really say, that she was out for a reason. It may be something real. I mean, we saw, how Lloyd played in the last week and a half of the season and in the last 2 playoff games that she played in. There may be something really wrong. That that it's more than what she led on or whatever the case may be. So I can't really give Phoenix a fighting chance on that. Brittany Griner, I picked the over on her points and I was wrong on that. Minnesota did exactly what I said they were going to do as far as making her move from side to side, pulling her away from the hoop. Masterful job of doing that. I think it is there. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Right? They're going to do the same thing they did before. Phoenix is going to have to make an adjustment. I don't think they're going to be able to make an adjustment on that because if you have the Natasha Cloud going for 30 and you still lose, I don't know what to tell you. That's one of the unexplainable things that you can you can't explain it. No real reason, no real way to explain it. So I mean, I hope Kalia gets over 20 because we know she can ball out. Brittany Griner 13.5 points. I'm taking the over on that. I know that's closer to her minimum. But if you want to, get, some free shekels, I would imagine she'll be able to hit that pretty easy. Diana Taurasi, 9.5 points. Take the over on that. I am not going to say that I'm not worried about that point total, but it's a closeout game and she's a veteran. I would imagine she's going to be launching from 3, 3.5 assists. I think she can get that too. That's going to be pretty risky. I should have put a risky tag on that because she's going to be gunning tonight. Like almost, Kobe's last game, taking 50 shots. I wouldn't put it past her to take 20 or 25 shots tonight. Don't even try to tell me that she's not capable of it because she definitely is. 1.5 3-pointers made. She averages about 6 or 7 3-point attempts a game. So I would imagine she's going to hit at least 2. I wouldn't be surprised if she took 10 3-pointers tonight. So two or more is not out of the realm of her getting to. And it also has a good shekel count to it. So definitely put one or 2 on that. Natasha Cloud, I have her at 12.5 points. that should be an easy one to, just based off of her aggressiveness, and the amount of shots that she took the last game. 30 points, don't bet that. Don't bet her getting 30 points. If you want to bet her getting over 20, sure, but don't bet 30 points for her tonight. I don't think that's going to happen again, especially with a Minnesota team that's pretty well coached and has enough personnel to be able to put some clamps on that this time around. Fee Collier. So Fee, who basically is the Swiss Army knife of the NBA next to Stewie and Asia. 15.5 points is kind of a walk in the park for her. She does flirt with that every once in a while, though. So be wary and watch that. But the 15.5 points, definitely take the over on that. 6.5 rebounds. She's one of the better rebounders on the team, too. So that's one of her minimums. Take the over. Kayla McBride. So the mixed bag of Kayla McBride is that we know that she's going to launch from anywhere she gets an open shot from. Every once in a while, she gets some freebies, some backdoor cuts, and offensive rebounds, putbacks, different things like that. It's weird that she's barely over the double-digit mark when it comes to her minimums. It's 11.5. So taking the over on that, I mean, and it's going to be a sweat because when's the last time you saw Kayla McBride score 25 points in a game? Don't worry, I'll wait. 1.5 3-pointers made, though. I'm taking the over on that, even though, like I said, it's hard, to hit 2 or more 3-pointers in a W game, but that's what she does. So I'm taking the over on that. Courtney Williams, nice, steady 10.5 points. I've had her at 9.5, 8.5, 10.5 points for the last part of the season. Definitely take the over on that. 4.5 assists, one of her minimums. Take the over on that too. I would say she should get anywhere between 6 to 8 assists tonight. And then Bridget Carlton, who has, this is probably the second time I've even put her on a list all season. 7.5 points, take the over on that. She's feeling good. She's getting her open spots. I think she'll continue to get her open shots. I have her at a minimum of 1 3-pointer or more made. The odds on that, I'm not saying the odds are long on it or anything like that, but I mean, she should hit 1. Let's put it that way. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
Okay. I don't have too much on this one. I don't have too much on this one. Phoenix been showing fraud to me, so I think everything with them is kind of risky. But we'll see. Let's see what the chat is saying. Bonner has scored 7+ points in her first quarter in 3 of the 4 matchups versus the Fever game 1. She had 10 points at the end of the first, and then Mabry got hot. Yeah. Mercury fraud team total under 125. 76.5. The 95 point score by Phoenix game 1 was the most the Lynx have allowed this season.
Y'all tough on them, I tell you, boy. Y'all don't pull no punches. Y'all tough on them. I'm trying to be diplomatic.
They're supposed to show different. It's too much talent there. It's too much veteran talent there for them to be like that, right? I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. It's really not cute. So no cute. It's a no cute for me.
No cute. Yeah, I don't understand that at all. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense for them to underperform the way that they are as far as the veteran team goes. Because I didn't think that game was even in question. I didn't. At any time in that game, I wasn't saying, "Oh, Minnesota's in trouble." I didn't even feel that way at all.
Minnesota, look out! We're not worried.
Yeah, I don't get it. It just makes no sense to me. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, they're a veteran team. Let's see how they bounce back. If they want that last home game for Diana Taurasi, we'll see what happens.
Oh yeah, we'll find out. We shall see.
or so-called last home game. Well, yeah,
Here we go.
yeah,
Here we go.
yeah. You don't know. Yeah, I mean,
I ain't gonna get you
she may
started.
pull
I
a
ain't gonna
Karl
get you
Malone.
started.
Maybe you may pull a Karl Malone and end up somewhere in Connecticut or be in Connecticut, close to her old school, right? So that's
Oh
just a
man,
rumor,
right?
y'all. I'm just making up stuff at this point.
I wish I could take the TV shows for tonight in Chicago, but I have no VCR. Oh man, Jeffrey, got to invest in a DVR or something to be able to
You know
get
what's
those
so
shows
funny? I
or to
have a
stream it.
VCR still.
I don't
I
have a
still have
VCR.
a
I still got a
VCR,
DVD. I still got a DVD player. I don't have a
and I
VCR.
got a
I got a
DVD.
videotape that I can't play nowhere. So I
Oh,
maybe I
but
need to send you the
I
videotape.
convert my
Uh,
videotapes to
Either one.
DVD.
I'm gonna send my videotape to you. I know exactly. I know who to send it to now.
I'll convert it.
We got Thursday night football coming up though, so we're gonna talk football score. Not real individual props, but kind of like game. What you got?
Right. So with this said, I mean, what we're looking at is two teams in the same division, big rivalry. At least it used to be back in the day. One team is underachieving, and one team is somewhere around where we thought they would be, especially with the personnel that they had, and that they actually didn't want to sign a running back. For some reason, the trend is going towards not paying running backs, which makes some sense, but not for franchise running backs. You pay your franchise running backs because if you look around the league now and you look at the actual wins-loss records, look at their running back situations. Most of them actually have running backs that are worth their salt and should have stayed with the team that they were on. Their team should have signed them. And you'll see that there's not that 2 or 3 headed monster that is being very successful in the NFL, because when you're trying to save running backs, and but Miami's a bad example, but Miami had running back by committee too. Like they had 3 running backs. They had 2 track star running backs in Moltzer and I forget the other guy's name. And then they also had the young guy, Etienne, who was really good young running back. All 3 of them are nursing injuries right now. So regardless of how you spread out the rushes and different things like that, to be honest with you, when you have a running back that carries the ball 15 to 20 times a game, you're usually less likely to have those type of injury problems with your running back core versus having a running back by committee, because now you have guys that they rush for two times and then they come off the field. Now they're waiting 4 to 6 plays to get back in. Now they got to get warmed up again. Now they got to start going again, right? That stuff makes it totally factors into the injuries that you see. CMC, that's kind of bell cow stuff. They use him not only for running, but also in the pass game. So he gets worked a lot. So his injuries, you can kind of forecast that that's what's going to happen. Saquon Barkley, he was hurt before too. He's a pass catching guy out of the backfield too. Now, what Dallas did is that they went back and got Zeke. Zeke doesn't catch the ball out of the backfield, not like he used to. And even before, he wasn't even that guy. He wasn't catching 5 or 6 passes out of the backfield. He was a run between the tackles dude. And then they had the change of pace with the other cat, Pollard, who actually I think he had a good game in Tennessee like 2 weeks ago. He's doing okay. He's not tearing the league up, but he's doing okay. They brought back Zeke, and they have the youngster back there too, trying to be Isaiah Pacheco from Kansas City. I don't know how that's going to work. He hasn't really broken out yet. I mean, he had a couple good plays, but nothing that you can really, say, yeah, I feel confident in the Dallas run game. The New York Giants, on the other hand, picked up who did they pick up? They picked up the one running back from Singletary. Was he? Oh, I think he was with Chicago. He was with Chicago, And he's doing well. He's actually doing well. He has 2 touchdowns, rushing touchdowns already this year. And he actually helps move the chains. Now you have a running quarterback in Daniel Jones, whereas, once he gets past his first or second read, he's running. He's trying to find a way to start running, which is usually good or bad. The Dallas defense is very athletic, but they are not in sync. Not in sync. One of the worst things that I saw last weekend was I saw DeMarcus Lawrence and Parsons jawing at each other, and not just friendly, banter. You have 2 of your best defensive players jawing at each other, not even past the first half. That's not a good sign. Not a good sign for your defense, right? Those are your guys, right? Besides Diggs in the secondary, those are 2 of your 3 guys on defense that you count on, and you can't have those 2 jawing at each other, right? So it's a bad mix for them right now. What people are underestimating in the Giants is that their defense isn't that bad. Their front 4 isn't that bad. They're really stout. They do a decent job against the run, but Neighbors, the rookie, he might be the next one. He is hard to stop. He doesn't run. His routes aren't his routes aren't they're not Wes Welker routes or anything like that. But he has good size. He has a good catch radius. He does well against number 1 matchups because he's the number 1 receiver over there. 23 catches, 271 yards, 3 TDs in 3 games. Right, that's not bad for a rookie. Yeah, I mean, he may be in the lead for rookie. Well, he's top 3 for rookie of the year. I think this is going to be a really good game. The over, what was it? It opened at 44.5. It opened at 44.5, and now the line's at 45.5. It says take the under on that. That's a 24 to 21 score, right? So if you don't think the Giants are going to score like 14 points, or if you don't think that Dallas is going to score like 28 or 31 points, take the under, right? One of these things are going to happen. They're both going to score some points, or Dallas is going to blow the Giants out. That's what's going to happen. So take the spread on this one. I don't like taking the spread. Take the spread on this one because the spread was actually at 5. Now it's at 6. I saw it at 5.5. So it's going up. So take the spread while you can, because it might end up at 7.5. If it ends up at 7.5, it's not going to be a lot of value for you. So if you want to take it now, take it now. It's a Thursday night game anyway. So if you're going to bet it, you might as well bet it now and not tomorrow. But I see, Dak may take off. He's on the road. So he does throw a lot on the road for sure. He's probably going to have about somewhere between 25 and 30 pass attempts. The run game is not truly that devastating. I mean, Dowdle, I can't pronounce his last name. He has 88 yards rushing in 3 games. And that's outpacing Zeke. Zeke is more like the goal line running back now. The good thing is that Prescott's not going to vulture any of his touchdowns like Josh Allen does his players, but Zeke is not that Zeke that could break a 20-yard run once or twice a game. It's not that same Zeke. Not the same guy. But Dallas does have a lot of weapons. So either it's going to be a blowout or it's going to get close. Take the spread. Take Dallas in the spread. And then if you feel that you want to earn some extra units, you can take the over. But if you want to be conservative, you can take the under, and you'll still get a few shekels on that.
Cool.
Props for that tomorrow, most likely.
Props for that tomorrow. Props for that tomorrow. Y'all know what time it is.
No.
Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what time it is. And how many games we got today before we even get into this? Cause
I think we have a full slate. I think it was one just went. So it's 14 games left. So it's plenty of games left. The games start in a half hour. So get these in. See what you like, get them in, and let's get it rolling. Oh boy.
Moonshots of the day, baby. Mr. Lovers, moonshots of the day. Rasheen Beats, what's good? Okay,
hey,
hold on.
What's
the Trash Boys. I believe Dallas will win tomorrow night. Rasheen Beats, what's good? Hello.
Rasheen.
Fernando Tatis Jr.
I do. You found the picture of yeah. That's him. That's the dude. Ketel Martell or Jock Peterson. Arizona is they're in the wild card race. San Francisco really doesn't have a whole lot to play for, but they did beat the pants off of Arizona yesterday. I think it was 10-1 or 11-1 or something like that. So there might be a little bit of pride and revenge going into this game. The matchup is, the pitcher matchup is kind of middle of the road. So Ketel or Jock Peterson for a home run. I would actually take Ketel 2 for 1.5 total bases. He should be able to achieve that today. Byron Buxton or Royce Lewis. This one in Minnesota is kind of in the same boat. Actually, they're winning their division, so they're but they're still trying to make sure that their magic number. I think their magic number might be 3. It's either 2 or 3 games, right? If they win 2 or 3 games, they're locked in for the division championship. So they still have something to play for. Byron Buxton, I think, is he led off yesterday, but I think he's 4th. It's between Royce Lewis and Buxton. I think they're batting 4th or 5th. Not sure which one they are batting right now. I have to take a look. But take them. Also, Royce Lewis is he should be good for 1.5 total bases. Paul Goldschmidt or Nolan Arenado. Nolan was he popped up on my list for a home run everywhere yesterday, and I don't think he hit one as I go through. So if that's the case in the matchup that they have going today, I would imagine that he would have a good chance of getting one out today against Colorado, who is, of course, one of the worst teams in baseball. So definitely take him. Fernando Tatis Jr. or Manny Machado or Jay Profar. I think Jay hit one yesterday. No, he didn't. Jake Crawfordworth hit one yesterday. I think Profar had a warning track hit that was close to a home run, but he didn't get it. So take 1 or 2 of these triplets today. I would actually, of course, Tatis is coming back, making Manny Machado look like chopped liver. The dude's he's just a natural. He's a natural, powerful hitter. He is what he is. They definitely missed him, even though, as I look, they are in the wild card race, and they're playing against the Dodgers, who has clinched their division, and they're going into the playoffs as the 1st or 2nd seed in the National League. This is going to be a good game, right? I think there should be. I think the total was like 8.5. There might be 10 runs in this game for sure. So definitely load up on some San Diego, even if it's just for hits or 1.5 total bases.
Okay, I like that. I've been waiting on Fernando to get back anyway. But
exactly. Yep.
without further ado, because I know we got games going off in 30 minutes, less than 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it is. Big Daddy's extra long shots of the day. Extra long dog shots of the day. This segment is sponsored by Big Mama's Fish Shack and Budweiser. Thank you very much, Marcus JTV. Right on time. Big Mama's Fish Shack and Budweiser.
Fish Shack.
Let's go.
I got to get over there. We got Miami at Minnesota. This is the long shot. Jake Berger or Connor Norby or Jonah Bride. I think Jonah Bride actually hit one the other day. Yeah, he did. Hit his 9th of the season yesterday. They have a good matchup today against Minnesota. And even though Miami's not playing for anything, they are still gunning for home runs and running up the score for sure. So with that said, the left-handers are going to have an advantage in this lineup. I think Jonah Bride is lefty. But Connor Norby is the leadoff man, and he can usually get 1.5 bases, so you can bet him for that. Home run will be a bonus. Jake Berger is their best home run hitter. He's due. I think he hit one a couple games ago, but I would definitely take him with Jonah Bride for home runs if you're going to do it. But all of them are good candidates for 1.5 total bases. Shohei Showtime Ohtani. Last I checked, he was still trying to go for being a 60-60 guy, 60 home runs and 60 stolen bases, which is absolutely ridiculous. That's like combining Aaron Here Comes the Judge with Mr. Henderson from the Oakland A's back in the day. You cannot there's no scenario where you can actually see another power hitter that would actually come close to stealing 30 or 40 bases, much less 50 or on the way to 60 stolen bases. So Shohei Ohtani, I could talk about him all day in a session in itself. You talk about a unicorn, he's a super unicorn, right? We've never seen, and I don't like using that phrase a whole lot, but we've never seen a baseball player like him. Like he actually can pitch 9 innings and still hit 3 home runs in a game, right? They talk about Babe Ruth back in the day, but yeah, it was back when they didn't get to play everybody too. And they would actually smoke cigarettes and cigars after each game, or even during, depending on which stadium you're in. Mookie Betts. It's just true. It's true stuff. Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts was, I think he hit a home run not yesterday, but the day before. So, or maybe earlier in the weekend. Hit his 19th back on the 22nd, which was 3 days ago. He has a good matchup tonight. 1.5 total bases. I can see him getting that. They are going up against a really good. They're either the ace for the San Diego Padres or the second best pitcher for the San Diego Padres. The Dodgers, I think, are still they're probably still gonna score 4 or 5 runs, just because the Padres bullpen will give up some runs too. Freddie Freeman, he is more of a 1.5 total base guy versus a home run guy, but he is a lefty going up against a righty, so he has a good matchup that way. So take 1 or 2 of the 3, and you should be good.
All right. We got our marching orders. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know that this movie's coming up. We are still celebrating the anniversary. We're going to have people popping up. We got timeout with Juju and Cess. Let's talk tonight during the game. I am back like I never left for basketball tonight. I mean, it ain't been that long. I think we got like a 7:30 tip-off. So I'm back in about less than an hour, like I never left. But we gotta get some picks in. Gotta get some picks in. So with that, y'all, come back and hang out with us in just a little bit. We are out. Y'all still here? Y'all know he can't leave. It's like he can't leave. It's like he can't take himself away from here. I don't know what it is. It's like he can't take himself away from here. So
it is one of those things.
What do you got? What do you got? Easter egg. You guys still here? It's golden egg time. What do you got?
So we are the Easter egg time, and I will take responsibility for this because I had a feeling that Carl Schwarber or Bryce Harper were going to have a good game today. They're going against the Cubs. The Philly is they're already locked in, but they are still locked in as of looking at their home run tallies back on the yesterday. Both Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber hit a home run. I was looking for them to go back to back today. I hate to break the bad news to y'all, and like I said, I take responsibility for this. That game already started, and the game is already underway. And I'm already going to give away some of the spoilers. Trey Turner has hit a home run in the first inning. Julio Rodriguez and Mitch Garver for the Seattle Mariners hit home runs. But Philly is already at it. It's 3-0 in the second inning. Just keep track. Hey, if they hit a home run, just know that it's my fault. I take responsibility for it. But if they don't, you dodge the bullet. There you go.
Here we go. And with that, I'm really back like I never left, y'all.
All right, y'all.
Less than an hour. We out.
Yes, y'all.